just going to press the recording button. So, as I said, 45 minutes tonight, heck of a lot to cover. Tonight's subject matter is hints and tips for successful sales letters. And this is by request, really, of the Circle of Influence members, because it's something that's key, obviously, to creating extra revenue, which is what we're all about, as well as having, of course, happiness and peace of mind and working smarter rather than harder. So, without further ado, let's get on and see what we have to cover for tonight. So the word sell originates from Scandinavian root selzig, which literally means to serve. So selling is to serve. That's it, plain and simple as that. And Zig Ziglar says you can get everything in life that you want if you will just help enough people get what they want. So you can get everything in life that you want if you just help enough people to get what they want. And when that happens, when you help people get what they want, you in turn get what you want, that's selling at its very, very best. That's serving at its very, very best. And that's what this evening is really all about. And that's really what your business should be about. But in order to understand what your customers want or your prospects want, you really need to get to know them. You need to spend some great quality time getting into their mind space, really understanding their needs and their wants. And I'll talk you through that in just a second. So who is your target audience? I bang on about this all the time, but it is vitally important to making sales quickly. So imagine that you were selling, let's say, size 14 dresses at the Britain's Got Talent venue. And you're standing outside and you're thinking, well, this is just a fantastic spot to go selling my goods. There's a mass crowd here, if you look at the picture, and, you know, I'm going to make a ton of sales today. And so you stand on the Britain's Got Talent stage and you start shouting, come and get your clothes here. Come and get clothing here. Come on, everybody, come here. Come and get your clothing. And then people start to come up to you and say, well, what have you got? Some men come up to you, what have you got? I've got ladies size 14 dress. Oh, no, that's not of interest to me. And then a small child comes up. Oh, I want some new clothing. What have you got? Oh, I've got ladies size 14 dresses. Oh, no, that's not for me. And so then you waste your whole day talking to people who potentially could have been interested, but you haven't got what they need. And then you run out of time before getting to your ideal target audience. Whereas if you stood on the stage and you shouted, size 14 dresses, come and get your size 14 dresses here, then anybody who's interested in a size 14 dress will make their way to you. And although you see in fewer numbers, which scares people, particularly when they're in their own business, so if you see in fewer people, you think you're going to make fewer sales, but actually that's not true. What you're doing is working far more smarter than you are harder. So you're getting straight to your target audience. You're not messing around with time wasters. You're not messing around with people who may be interested, may not be interested. They just want to come and chat to you. You're getting straight to your target audience. And that's really why you need to have a target audience. So the world may well be your target audience, you think. You know, everybody is my customer. Everybody potentially needs style coaching. Everybody potentially needs healthcare. Everybody potentially needs whatever. That's not true. So, well, it is true. Potentially they might need it, but you're going to spend a heck of a lot of your time finding out that they don't need it. And so the quickest way and the easiest way to make a sale is to serve the people who have the exact match or the exact fit with what you have to offer. And that's why you should care. It'll cut it down on so much time. So what you need to do, and you may think it's time wasting, but it certainly isn't, is spend time really getting to know your target audience. So here's my stick figure, which you may have seen before, and I love this exercise. So this is your target audience. What you need to try and understand is as much information as possible about your target audience. So where do they live? What location are they in? Are they all over the UK? Are they all over the world? Are they just in England? Are they just in Northamptonshire? What type of house do they live in? What age are they? What date of birth do they have, if that's important? Maybe not. It is if you're selling horoscopes, perhaps. Tell me about their family. What's their ethnicity? I can't pronounce it. Religion and health. What type of holidays do they go on? When do they go on holiday? Where do they go? How do they spend their time when they're outside of work? What do they do with their disposable income? What kind of salary are they on as a household, as an individual? Do they have savings? Do they borrow? What do they read? What do they watch? What do they browse on the internet? What is their online behavior like? What's their pleasure? What motivates them to spend? What inspires them to do things? And what's their pain? So what's their problem? Where's their discomfort? And if you find out all of that information, then you get closer and closer and closer to getting into their headspace, really understanding what's important to them. You can then be able to start to talk their language. So sales then just becomes so natural, like a dance. So you say something, they respond. They think, oh my God, this person really knows me. They really understand what's important to me. They've taken the time to know what's important to me, and they get straight to the point. This is great. So people operate on a what's in it for me frequency. This is really important for you to understand. And, it might be quite upsetting for some of you, but it's not all about you, I'm afraid. It's about them. So what's in it for me? We FM. If you're not saying what's important to them, how it relates to them, what impact it's going to have on them, then they're not even listening. They've tuned out. The more you talk about, I can do this, I can do that, I've done this before, I can do this, my company's been in operation for this long, I've got this result, I've achieved this, I've achieved that, they're like, sorry, you still talking? So they want to know what's in it for them. That's the only frequency you should be transmitting at. So in order to do that, you need to know what motivates them to take action. So what makes them jump out of bed in the morning? What floats their boat? What are they talking about? What's their pleasure? What's their pain? Some people seek pleasure and they want to have a great experience, and some people are pain averse, so they move away from something that's going to cause them discomfort. So you need to understand that. That's quite important, that what motivates one person may not necessarily motivate another person to take action. So you've got to cover both in your marketing pitch, or really understand who you're talking to before you start going down the wrong avenue. So what words are they typing into Google? So if, for example, let me try and think of a good example. Say you sell, you're a beautician. So are they typing into Google beautician required, or are they typing in pedicure or manicure or gel nails, for example, shellac nails? What are they typing in exactly? Are they typing in beauticians, or are they typing in leg waxes? What's the exact words are they typing in? I know that we've got an image consultant on the call, so are they typing in image consultant required, or are they typing in new clothes, new wardrobe required, or Gok1 image makeover? So what exactly are they typing in? Are they actually typing in the words that you think they're typing in? Are they typing in the technical talk? So for me, are they typing in business coach required, or are they typing in something like increased sales revenue? I bet they're not typing in business coach required. Or actually, they may do, but there'll be a massive information coming their way if they type that in, and there'd be a lot of sifting that they'd have to get to what they really require. So why do people need your product or service? So here's another little exercise for you. So a prospect is somebody who hasn't yet bought from you. There's different people or different names in the sales cycle. We have a suspect, and that's somebody who you suspect has a need, but you have no idea whether that's true or not. You haven't spent the time to get to know them yet, and you haven't asked them any questions, you haven't done any research, so they're a suspect. You suspect that they've got a need. And then you've got a prospect. So that's somebody that you have identified that actually, yes, they do have a need. So this could be, yes, this is a lady who definitely has a need for a size 14 dress, but I haven't sold to her yet. Therefore, she's not a customer, she's still a prospect. So let's just take this as another way. Mr. Prospect, this is Mr. let's call him Smith. So he has a need. And what is his need? Well, let's imagine that Mr. Smith's did I say Smith? Mr. Smith's needs is to go on holiday. So he has a need to take a break from work. What's his pain? His pain is that he's about to have a heart attack because he's just so stressed with the amount of workload that he's got to do. He just can't take a break. He's just so overwhelmed with work. So he needs a holiday, but he hasn't got time to have a holiday. So what's his symptoms? His symptoms are high blood pressure, heart palpitations, extreme hours at the office, never been able to switch off, just maybe distraction, maybe making mistakes. And what's the pleasure that he's seeking? So the pleasure that he's seeking is complete peace of mind, knowing that if he did leave the office, that everything would be taken care of. So that's quite a detailed analysis of Mr. Smith, of his needs, of his pain, of his symptoms, and his pleasure. Now, it's really, really important to understand this. So if you know that his need is to have a holiday, and you go straight in selling him, well, have this holiday in Barbados, or have this holiday in Dominican Republic, have this holiday, this 5-star holiday on Richard Branson's island. And he's like, well, that's great, yeah, fantastic. But firstly, I haven't got time to book it. Secondly, I can't leave my work. So how do you're down the wrong avenue with him, then you can't sell anything to him. So what you need to put together then is a completely different package that completely suits his needs. You start talking to him in the language that he can understand. So let me come back to that example in just a short while. So we need to understand here the difference between features and benefits. And lots of people, you'll see this, once you're aware of it, you'll see this everywhere. Lots of people talk about features. So features are the attributes that describe your product or service in detail. So when describing your product, features include the product description, the size, the weight, the color, and obviously this works as well for your service. Technical details about it, your product specification, and anything else to do with describing the details of your product and service. So let's have a look at this, for example. So if we're selling a holiday, then the product description would be fantastic holiday in Barbados, 5-star hotel, right by the sea, 5 swimming pools, a la carte menu, yada, 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 yada. Product specification, flights out from particular airports, timing of the flights, baggage required, anything to do with the minute details of the holiday itself. And then we've got the benefits. So the benefits, features describe your product, the benefits actually goes on to solve the problem for the customer or fulfills a need. So the benefits really do sell your product and service. So when describing a benefit, include how your product or service will solve a problem for your customer, how your product and service will fulfill a client's needs, how your product or service is better than the competition, how it will reduce long-term costs, how it will increase productivity, how it will lead to improved customer satisfaction, etc., etc. So remember, the features describe the products while the benefits sell the product. So let's go back to this Mr. Smith example. So he's got a need for a holiday. Let me get my pointer. One second. We'll have a little highlighter. So he has a need for a holiday, and his pain is that he has heart palpitation. No, his pain is that he has no time for a holiday. He's overworked. He can't leave the office, etc., etc. His symptoms are heart palpitations, missing deadlines, working in the office, his family getting annoyed with him, and the pleasure he's seeking is just complete relaxation and turning off from work. So what do you offer? So his need is for a holiday. What do you offer? I offer a holiday service. Great, tick. Pain. His pain is that he has no time to book a holiday. He has no time to concentrate on booking a holiday. He can't get his head up from the workload. So what do you do for them? You offer a travel counselor service. So you will go and identify holidays that suit him perfectly. You'll take all the requirements, you'll book everything for him so he doesn't have to think about this one iota. The symptoms are that he's got, as I say, heart attack symptoms. So how do you help? Well, you'll choose accommodation where they produce beautiful, healthy food, where there's masseurs available, where there's meditation lounges, perhaps, where you can have access to temporary chief executive officers who'll come in and handle the workload while he's on holiday. And the pleasure is he's looking for complete and utter peace of mind. So what extra value did you add? Well, you added that they can access their Wi-Fi access. You've got this agency who can deal with extra work. You can give them contacts with people you can outsource different pieces of work to. And then also, obviously, you've got this extra healthy add-on bolt-on service. So you see it's quite different from features. You're actually providing the benefits of your service against all these needs, pain, symptoms, and pleasure. Hopefully that makes sense to you. And let me just take the highlighter off. Okay, so tips for writing good sales material. Obviously there's a lot to cover, so play this recording back time and time again so you can really get into the detail of this. But here's some quick and easy tips for you to adopt in order to write good sales material. So the first thing to remember when you're writing to your clients is to get personal, and that means to use their name. So when you're walking down the street and somebody shouts your name, you automatically turn around. So it's a huge pull. People, you write their name, people go, wow, they're talking to me, directly to me. I must sit up and listen. It's rude not to respond when somebody calls my name. So getting personal also means that you're talking to them one-to-one. It isn't a mass market thing, and it doesn't matter if they don't listen because it does. There's other people listening. You're actually writing to them, and so they feel it rude not to take the time to read it often and respond. So put your name in the letters that you send out. If you're using a mass marketing email campaign or email software such as Constant Contact or One Shopping Cart, etc., then make sure that you personalize the email that you're sending out. So you only have to write it once, but make sure, it's really important, you stick their name in the top of it. Dear Joe, dear Mr. Smith, dear Luby Lou. Comparison. This is really good. This is all about really the law of influence and about how to, when in sales you're influencing or moving people towards a desired outcome. And it's really important to remember that your desired outcome must be a win-win for everybody else. It's not manipulative at all. It's about getting the best for both you and your client. But ultimately it's your client's needs. That's the most important thing. And as I said at the beginning, if you fulfill their needs, then you fulfill your own. So really important on the law of influence here is the law of comparison. So if you address their pain or their pleasure and then stick a price tag on it. So for example, Mr. Smith, you've got heart attack symptoms, you're not looking good, you're completely in your work rather than on your work, mistakes getting made. What's that costing you? Well, first of all, it could be costing your life potentially. And what does that mean for your family? What does that mean for your business and to the customers? How much money is it costing for you to be in that business and not taking a break? How many mistakes getting made? What does that mean in regards to, lost revenue, for example? So what is it that this pleasure or this pain is costing? So how much pleasure could you get from just stepping away temporarily, knowing that everything's going to be okay, knowing that we've got somebody in to take up the workload, knowing that you've got a PA coming on holiday with you and your family who'll take care of unnecessary emails or surplus emails that you don't need to bother yourself with? How pleasurable will it be for you to just imagine sitting by the pool, relaxing, and just knowing that you're getting back to good health again so that you can give 100% to your business when you come back. Imagine how much money you'll be able to earn then. Imagine how focused you'll be. Imagine how great your relationships will be by you taking that time off. What's the cost of that? It's priceless. or actually put a price on it. What is the cost of, what is it costing you not to go on holiday? And then what's it costing you in lost revenue by you staying and doing what you're doing? And then you say, and the benefit of your product. So the pain is your heart attack symptoms. The benefits is imagine sitting by the pool, getting back to great health again, and then putting a price on it all. So now people have used the example of it's just the price of a cup of Costa coffee every day, or it's just the price of a packet of chewing gum every day. But the biggest thing is not just to stick a price, but to make the price comparable to the benefits of your products and service. So a price of a Costa coffee is not going to do it for anybody. They're like, yeah, whatever, I quite like my Costa coffee. The price of a packet of chewing gums is not going to do it. What's the price of a packet of chewing gums? You know, it's negligible in my life. But the benefits, yeah, now you're talking. So it's not much money, and I get a whole load of benefits as well. So that's the bit you want to focus on, the benefits, and then make sure you put a price tag on it. So make sure you price up the benefits. So if you're giving extra books away, if you're giving an extra consultation away, then make sure you put a price on that as well, because it's not free. So for example, if I said, you know, with the Circle of Influence, you get 12 sessions, plus you get 2 coaching sessions, and you get 12 webinars and access to 12 Q&A sessions. Now, all that for 1995. Well, that, you know, that's not really selling it. So I had to go through all the benefits of why it's great to have that package, but then also to break down the cost so people know that a coaching session alone is £150 with me. So 1 hour of time with me is £150. I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that for comparison for people to understand. And so if they get 28 hours of my time, then that's, you know, that's a lot of money worth. That's a huge saving on the price of just paying me one-to-one basis. So there's a great comparison there. Hopefully you can see that. Again, play this back so you can listen to it again. So make it a no-brainer proposition. So you can get all that time with me for like a marginally reduced price compared to the one-to-one time that you'd have to pay. Isn't that great? Isn't it a no-brainer proposition? So here's a question for you. What could be your no-brainer comparison proposition for your customer? So if you're doing, so one of our clients does Botox and microneedling, so that to make people look younger, which people may think is expensive, but what's it costing them not to reduce the wrinkles? So she had somebody in recently, I believe, who was in the acting business, and so by not having by not reducing their wrinkles, by not taking care of their skin, they were losing work, I believe. So don't quote me on this, but I think this is the case. So it's a no-brainer offer that they should come for some Botox, have a quick Botox session, and then go on and continue to work and earn more money as a result of their skin looking better, making them look younger. So it's a no-brainer comparison. Well, it's a small price, isn't it, compared to what you're going to earn? Career coaching, for example. Come and have a career coaching session for £150 and then go on and earn £5,000. No-brainer. What's your no-brainer going to be? Have a think. So write that question down and revisit it after this session. Sense of belonging. So I notice the time we need to speed up a bit. So this is really important, that people like to belong to something, to a clan, to a tribe, particularly now more than ever because we're getting more remote and because of this information world that we're living in, people are communicating remotely. They still want a sense of belonging, and that's because of the lovely Abraham Maslow, the guru on motivational theory. So there's various levels that people want to motivate them, but in the middle of it is friendship, family, belonging. And so you really have to focus on that when you're marketing and selling. So need to understand why people buy a certain branded car, for example. So why do people buy, isn't the Nissan car at the moment, or the Minis? They love the Minis and they all have a bit of meet up and they feel they can beep each other when they see each other on the road. So there's something about being a Mini owner that brings people together. So why do people buy the latest gadgets? It's because they want to look a certain way, or they want to be ahead of the crowd, or they, it says something about them. Why do people buy Chanel perfume, or any other type of perfume for that matter? Why do people buy designer clothes? Why do people serve Coke instead of Tesco at their barbecues? So I say that from an example of one of my family members. Why? Why is it so important to serve the real Coke and not Tesco cheap stuff at their barbecues? What is it that we're trying to, what do people think about us? What will they say about us if we do that? And so it's really important for you to understand why people come to you, and to understand that they're part of another group who could be talking about the benefits that they got from you, who could be sharing their ideas with their clan, with their tribe. Or, when people are talking about it, that's where the referral thing really comes in. It's people buy from people, and people buy from people that they know, like, and trust, which is coming up in just a moment. So you need to set your presence as a real reputable person who produces this kind of result for people, and then they go on and tell everybody else about how great it is, and look what it did for me, and look, clan, you might want to buy it too. So what message do you want people to send out when they buy your products or service? So this is all about really thinking at a conscious level about what you're doing, about what you're selling, about the impact of your product or service on your client, the end result. This is what it's really all about. And then we've got the law of contrast. This is really great. I'm just reaching over because I've got a book that I want to share an example from for you in just a moment. So contrast. So the principle states that human perception is affected by the way we see differences between two things that are presented one after the other. And so this comes from Robert I can never pronounce his name, Cialdini, I'm going to say, The Psychology of Influence. Now, this is actually free as a PDF on the internet. So if you just type in the name of that book and PDF, you'll find it as a free resource. But I've got the book, and it's worth getting the book because I've read it many, many times. So here's the story of the law of contrast. Dear Mother and Dad, since I left for college, I've been remiss in writing, and I'm sorry for my thoughtlessness in not having written before. I will bring you up to date now, but before you read on, please sit down. You are not to read any further unless you're sitting down, okay? Well, then, I'm getting along pretty well now. The skull fracture and the concussion I got when I jumped out of the window of my dormitory when it caught on fire shortly after my arrival here is pretty well healed now. I only spent 2 weeks in the hospital, and now I can see almost normally and only get those sick headaches once a day. Fortunately, the fire in the dormitory and my jump was witnessed by an attendant at the gas station near the dorm, and he was the one who called the fire department and the ambulance. He also visited me in hospital, and since I had nowhere to live because of the burnt-out dormitory, he was kind enough to invite me to share his apartment with him. It's really a basement room, but it's kind of cute. He is a very fine boy, and we have fallen deeply in love and planning to get married. We haven't got the exact date yet, but it will be before my pregnancy begins to show. Yes, Mother and Dad, I am pregnant. I know how much you are looking forward to being grandparents, and I know you will welcome the baby and give it the same love, devotion, and tender care you gave to me when I was a child. The reason for the delay in our marriage is that my boyfriend has a minor infection which prevents us from passing our premarital blood test, and I carelessly caught it from him. Now, what I have brought... Sorry. Still laugh at this story whenever I read it. Now that I have brought you up to date, I want to tell you that there was no dormitory fire. I did not have a concussion or skull fracture. I was not in the hospital. I am not pregnant. I am not engaged. I am not infected. And there is no boyfriend. However, I am getting a D in American history and an F in chemistry. And I want you to see those marks in their proper perspective. So it's a real story in there for you about the law of contrast. So if you want somebody to buy from you, it's great to represent it in contrast with something else. So here's some examples for you. So present expensive items first. So for example, when you go to a car sales room, they present the biggest and the best car in the showroom. Come and have a look at this. And then when you sell clothes, for example, you sell the suit first and then the shirt second. Because once people have mentally got their head around something expensive, the smaller, cheaper items are all just like, negligible compared to the big expense that people have paid out. And so it's like a bolt on a complimentary purchase, which they just love. Now, for example, if you bought clothes, for example, and they started with, look, here's a lovely tie, their mindset is on a maybe £15 tie. And then you go and show them a £300 suit. They might be thinking, £15, £300, goodness me, no, I can't afford a £300, I just come in for a tie. But if you show them the suit first, a £300 suit, which is just a nice, reasonable price suit, and then they try it on and they look great, and you say, imagine the sales that you'll win with this suit on, and imagine the promotion that you'll get, imagine the impact you'll have in the office, and people sit up and take notice of you. Now, wouldn't this tie go great with it? It's only £15. You see, it's like, well, yeah, go on then, I'll have it all. So show poor products first. That's what the estate agents do. I worked for an estate agent many years ago, and I know this for a fact. So if people are coming in and they say they want to buy a 2-bedroom house, or they want to spend, I don't know, £200,000 on a house, then I was told to always give them the £100,000 houses as a first show, and then take them to the £400,000 houses, and then take them to the £250,000 houses, so they'd always pay more than they were originally going to pay. I don't know how ethical that is, but that's what happened in the old days. So the contrast items show low, medium, show things in contrast with other things. So it was really great to have a portfolio of products and services so that people can have an option of buying, and they see them in contrast with different prices. So lots of people will go for low. Few people will go for high, but there will most definitely be people who will go for high. They like that. That's the prestige thing. And then the majority will go for medium rather than the low. If you just show the low and the high, then people just buy the low. But at least give them the medium option. They'll go somewhere in between. It can significantly add to your revenue just by adopting that. So how are you presenting your products and services? Do you have a range? And what will you do now, knowing about the importance of that? Next thing to note, number 0.5, is that people go along with the crowd. So how can you incorporate that into your business? Use testimonials. People don't buy from you. They buy from what other people are saying about you now, particularly now. So have images of your testimonials, have voices, people speaking is far more powerful than just writing down. You're not allowed to make anonymous claims anyway, but if people are saying great things about you, and they can see them on a video, then people are going to believe it. They're not going to think you just wrote something that people have said and manipulated what they said. So get your Facebook like tag on your website. Tell people what you want them to do. So with the Facebook thing as well, what's great about that is that gets shared then with the people's friends, and then they can all see what their friends like. And again, it's following the tribe, following the clan, or seeing what they're interested in. Tell people what you want them to do. So, tell your friends, please refer us to others, and then personalize your marketing literature. That's what we've talked about earlier on. People buy from people that they know, like, and trust. This is really important. This is another really great thing about social media. So although you may not get sales from social media, what you are doing is building a presence in the marketplace, and you're not going to, run off with their money, or you'll have people talking about you on the internet. You'll have videos up about you. You'll have conversations with people, so they know you're a real person. They'll know a little bit about you. They'd have done their research. So how do you think you could help people know, like, and trust you in your business? Become, a key person of influence. Speak at events, for example. Have a proper referral system in place. So you're encouraging your customers to invite their friends along or to try your services. What could you start doing today to improve your credibility with your target audience? So don't go writing on Facebook that you've been out on the lash, or look at this, another gloomy blooming day, unless you want to be remembered for that. So every single thing that you're saying is being censored out there. on a conscious or unconscious level. So be really, really careful of what's going on, what you're saying, what you're tweeting about, what you're writing on your Facebook wall, etc. It's all being observed by people waiting to buy from you or not to buy from you. Law of reciprocation. This is really great. So examples of this. So the Hare Krishna at the airports, they used to give out flowers. Here we are, here's a free flower, here's a free flower. And people wouldn't take the flower or didn't want to take the flower because they felt that they had to put money in the pot, because the law of influence says that you can't take without giving something back. They banned that from the airport later on, I hear. The charities, you see, they send out bulky mail with pens or a free brooch or something because they feel like you might say, wow, you know, they haven't got much money, they sent me this pen, I've got to send money back. It's my duty. I ordered some tights the other day and it came with free jewelry as a, well, I didn't order them, they got my details from someone, but here's some tights and here's some free jewelry, send them back if you don't want it. And you're like, oh no, I'll just buy them now and that's it. I was tied in. So what could be your ethical bribe? Now, how this is really useful is if you've got a web page and you want to collect details, contact details, then give something away for free. Because once you give something away for free, then people will gladly exchange their details for it, as long as it's something good and it's worthwhile that they're interested in. So what could be your ethical bribe? What could you give away for free or for people to try it, a taster session, for example, so that they feel like, wow, this person's given up their time, you know, maybe I could invest in this. And again, do it ethically. So it's got to be really important. You can't just, you know, force yourself on people. Make sure it's something they're going to benefit from. This is really important. Ask for the sale. So there's so many people who say, and here's this great holiday, and here's this great experience, and here's the whole package for you, and why don't you go away and have a think about it? So it's really important when you're writing sales letters or content for your website or any marketing material is to ask for the sale. Not always. I mean, sometimes it's not relevant if you want them to, for example, if you're trying to arrange if you want somebody to buy a holiday from you and you've never met them before, then maybe you'll arrange your first touch point with them would be to have a cup of coffee. So you're not going to sell at that point. But know that you have a sales process in place, and at some point during the touch points, having conversations with them or marketing to them, you're going to ask for the sale. But it's really important to ask for the sale. Don't leave them thinking, because as soon as somebody's out of your presence, as soon as somebody's off that web page, then that's it, you're out of their mind. Scarcity is really great thing to note for the law of influence. So if people, it's just a natural instinct that if there's not much around, then people will want it more. There was a great example in another law of influence book, I can't remember the name of it now, but where the best sales technique that ever happened was of, you know, one of those shops online, QVC is it or something like that, where they said, if you can't get through to our call center now, then call back later because our lines are busy. Now people thought, wow, that's like massive, you can't do that, we'll get more stuff. But they sold more than any other product or service for since the show had been in operation, apparently, because that's more appealing than call us now. Our helpline is waiting to take your call. That just kind of brings up images of a silent call center with no phones ringing and bored people waiting to answer the call. So scarcity is really important. So there's only 20 places. And make this true again. Don't lie on any point. This is only going to last until Friday. Once it's gone, it's gone. And people react then. They know that there's a deadline. They've got to take action. And make it easy to buy from you. This is really important. And I've learned this in the past, that, you know, if you put in too many obstacles, people get bored and they don't want to buy from you. If it's too much text to read, they don't want to buy from you. If they have to work out what they need to do, they won't buy from you. So just make it really, really, really easy for people to buy from you. And we've got just 6 minutes left, so let's go on to some real life examples. And I know one of our Circle of Influence ladies is on the call, and I promise I will look at some of her letters. But I've just got one as an example, so I'll go through that now or just in a moment. So here's an example of an email I got in my inbox the other day. Dear Sir or Madam, being a European company, we offer translation services for up to 21 different languages and any kind of subject area. All of our translators are native speakers. So, in order to calculate the price for your requested translation, please go to Co-List Translator. How? Where's the link? How shall I do that? If our price meets your expectations, please confirm your order. How shall I confirm my order? What shall I do? You will then receive your requested translation within short time. Or how short time? What are we talking about here? Days, weeks, months? We look forward to your order. So what's in it for me? So we offer translation services for 21 different languages and any kind of subject area. Well, there's no target audience in there. It's not specific. There's no niche. There's nothing about me in there. All of our translators are native speakers. So these are all features, 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 and no benefits. In order to calculate the price of requested translation, please go to Co-List Translator. Now, this isn't making it easy for me to make the sale. There's no law of contrast in there. There's no pricing to look at. So I have no idea what pricing is. It's too much like hard work. So what am I going to do? I'm going to bid in that email. That didn't work for me. Dear Sir or Madam, they haven't even bothered to understand what sex I am. No, thank you. So here's an example of an email that was sent to one of our ladies here. So, hi, have been given your card by Laura and Monica Rose. My niece is getting married on Sunday the 3rd of June and has been let down by her makeup lady. Oh, bless. Please can you let me know if you are free on this date and also what your fees are. Thank you very much. So here's a great sales opportunity. So I've been given your card. So here's a referral. Fantastic, nicely warmed up. My niece is getting married on the 3rd of June. We've got a date and she's been let down. Oh, drama of all dramas. That's an absolute nightmare. So she's got a real need to buy here. Can you let me know if you're free on this date and what are your fees? Thank you. So here's the response. I don't normally work on Sundays, but if you'd like me to do it, I charge £120 for a trial and makeup on the day for the bride and £40 per bridesmaid or mother of the bride on the day. There's a mileage cost depending on where it is. Hopes this helps. So, now I know this was probably done in haste and it's okay, but I promised that I would address this online, so I know that it's okay to do it. So, first of all, yes, we did have a name. Hi, Jane. I don't normally work on Sundays. Well, does she need to know that? If you would like me to do it, I charge this price for a trial and makeup on the day for the bride. So there's nothing personalised in it. Oh my goodness, Jane, I can't believe you've been let down. That must be really upsetting for you. I never let my clients down. This is one of the things that I pride myself on, and everybody knows who books me that I will definitely be there. Because Jane doesn't want this to happen again, does she? And, you know, as a referral probably told you, you know, I've got a wealth of experience. I'll know what to do with you. So don't worry that we haven't worked together much times before. We can make this perfect for you on the day. When shall I come and see you? And P.S. price is this much. So there's a mileage cost depending on where it is. I think, you know, at the moment she'll pay anything because I think, because she's been let down and she's quite desperate. But this letter, this response has no personalisation in it. There's no... there's just no affinity between the two people. It's just like, well, I don't normally work, but yeah, I'll give it a go. Go on then. So I think just my advice on that one is to make it a bit more personal. Focus on the pain. Say how you would, you know, counteract that pain, what you could do for her, how it's a magical experience that you give. Here's testimonials from people saying that I always turn up and I'm brilliant. And so there's a lot of information, a lot of content lacking from that email. Here's Centre Parks, a wonderful Centre Park. I've just come back from holiday. Hi, Leanne. Welcome home. We hope that you had a great time at Centre Parks and had some very special memories of your short break. I did. It was wonderful. Why not take advantage of our exclusive special offer to book again? It's open to you and any member of your party. There's also a chance to win £10,000 on a free break. Woo! Just by telling us about your stay. We look forward to seeing you again for another memorable break. So here they've got my name. Hi, Leanne. Really important. Come back soon. This came the same day as I got home. So this is great. You know, obviously this is automated, but it's fantastic. We've the perfect excuse for you to come back. And they have. Here's the incentive. Low price guaranteed, vouchers, cancellation prices. Book now, making it very easy for me to book. I'm not sure it's on this page. Yeah, so this offer is valid within 28 days of my return. So there's a scarcity time limit on it. There's an easy to book. There's a lovely memories. They mention my name. It's a beautiful letter. Really great. Some nice images as well. Just gone slightly over, but this is the last letter, or 2 pages actually. So here's a theoretical perfect sales letter if you're trying to warm up a cold call. So the headline here, what does your company image say about you? Let me get the pointer on, 1 second. What does your company image say about you? That's a great headline. Dear Will, nice first name. A recent survey of small businesses reported that 73% do not have a recognizable brand. So facts and figures. 73 do not have a relevant brand, but what does that mean to me? So what? So further 8 out of 10 businesses fail in the first 10 years. Oh, okay. Businesses fail in the first 10 years. I don't want that to be me. A leading reason for failure rate is insufficient revenue. Yeah, okay. And it doesn't have to be that way. Oh, good. Have you got some kind of package that you can give me based on that pain of lack of revenue, about failing? Would you like to increase your sales? Yes. At Marketing Matters, our focus is to help you improve your image and grow your business. It's all about results. One of our recent clients had this to say, so here's a lovely testimonial. I'll call you next couple of days to follow up and see what makes sense, whether it makes sense to discuss further. And here's a great thing at the end. P.S. Ask me how one idea brought a small business back from the brink of disaster to record growth. So you see here is a fantastic example of personal, relevant, testimonial. Here's a winning story. Here's a, let me find out more. Great, well-composed letter. And then the last thing I want to show you is, just because one of the ladies said that she quite likes my marketing, so I'm not doing this to brag again. I just want to show you this. And I'm not sure if this is going to work, but this is what I've composed, and I'd like you to have a little look at this one. So this is my Good to Bloomin' Fabulous event that I'm hosting in September. So I've put a video on here. People like videos. They like to see you, and it is relevant to people who are visual and auditory as well. There's a little moving picture, but my mission is this. Women can be the best they can be. Imagine, so here's a pleasure, a manageable to-do list, getting things done effortlessly, where you have more energy, enjoy everything. You have better, more fulfilling relationships. You have more than enough money. You have a growing career or expanding client base. Imagine that. So that's all the pleasure-seeking things. And this is absolutely achievable and sooner than you think. So here's a little bit of background about me. Look, heavy with children. My experience, how I can help, or what I've learned along the way. Here's a bit of, so here's pain that I've experienced. I've seen women who've mentally capped their own salary, experienced women who've held themselves back, believing their growth will hurt others, listen to women tell stories about why being fulfilled will take them away from those they love, observed women undersell and undervalue their contribution, witnessed women breaking down in floods of tears due to sheer exhaustion. All of that's absolutely true, and all of that I wanted to help people with. So that's pain. So we had the top, the pleasure, and this is the pain. Here's the 3-day event. So here's the content. Oh, sorry, no, it's not yet. So here's more pain. So you work long hours, you feel exhausted, you feel like you'll be found out, you feel like what you do is never enough, you feel guilty the lack of time you spend with your family and friends, all those things. Do you feel guilty? Do any of those resonate with you? So I'm getting personal. So here's what's involved. Here's what the 3-day entails. And here's a big gap. So this course is perfect for people who don't have much time, who aren't feeling that they're enough, who don't value themselves very much, and yet I'm asking them to invest in themselves for 3 days. So here's the gap, and I'm acknowledging that. I'm saying I know this is going to be a problem for you mentally, but I want you to get over it. And here's my offer. So you get discount, and if you sign up before the 22nd of June, so there's a time limit on it, and there's a benefit for early bookers for acknowledging and investing in themselves, and then they can upgrade and have a VIP. So this is my contrast package, so that they can pay a little bit more money and have a better service. And then here's testimonials from people who said that they like working with me, so it can't be a lie, I must be doing something right. And here's the offer again, just in case you missed it, making it easy for them to buy from me. And there's a picture of me. So that's an example of what I've done. So a little bit about myself: pleasure, my experience, pain, here's the offer, here's me understanding you, here's me making it easy to buy from me, and here's people saying that they know, like, and trust me. So hopefully that fills in the gaps for you and has helped you. Oops, I've got the wrong thing up. One moment. Okay, and it helps you write better sales letters. So that's the end of that screen show by the look of it. I'm just going to take that slide off. And what I encourage you to do is play this back, write down the questions that I've asked along the way, and then try to address them yourself, and then have a look at your sales letters. And if you're part of my Circle of Influence group, then please feel free to bring them along to the meetings for us to all have a little look at them, see why they're not working. And the lady whose email I showed, then get in touch with me and I'll be glad to go through the other emails with you. But hopefully now you've got a taste of what works, what doesn't work. And thank you so much for spending the evening with me. I wish you much success with your sales letters and the results you get off the back of them. And speak to you very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.